A reading from Luke chapter 5, beginning at verse 17. Jesus heals a crippled man. One day, some Pharisees and experts in the law of Moses sat listening to Jesus teach. They had come from every village in Galilee and Judea and from Jerusalem. God had given Jesus the power to heal the sick, and some people came carrying a crippled man on a mat. They tried to take him inside the house and put him in front of Jesus. But because of the crowd, they could not get him to Jesus. So they went up on the roof, where they removed some tiles and let the mat down in the middle of the room. When Jesus saw how much faith they had, he said to the crippled man, "My friend, your sins are forgiven." What would you do? Imagine you're one of the 5 young men who possibly have grown up together and know each other incredibly well. One of you maybe gets himself into trouble, and as a consequence, somehow finds himself crippled, paralyzed, unable to do anything for himself, and nobody is able to help him. What would you do? What would you do if, wanting to help, loving your friend dearly, you hear about this traveling rabbi, this teacher, Jesus, who is healing people? What would you do? Would you persuade your other 3 friends to help you rig together some form of stretcher, and between the 4 of you bodily carry him to Jesus? What would you do when you get there and find you can't get in? It's obviously the right place because people are crowded around the door and peering into windows. But this isn't a crowd you can elbow your way past. Most of the people crowding around are Pharisees, scribes, respected religious leaders. What would you do? What would you do if you saw that the one place where people were not crowding around was the stairs to the roof? Would you look at your friends, quietly indicating that somehow you get your friend up those stairs and onto the roof? And when you get up on the roof, what would you do? Do you look at each other, look at the roof, and then suddenly one of you start digging, regardless of the fact that this is someone else's property? As you clear away the mud and the branches and the debris, a hole appears in the roof. And as you look down, you see a face looking back up at you, smiling. And at that moment, you realize this is Jesus. And somehow, he knows everything. What would you do? Would you continue to dig? After all, you're going to need a very big hole to get your friend lower down on his mat in front of Jesus. And would you then lower your friend with the help of your other friends carefully down to the feet of Jesus? And once he is there, wait and watch. As Jesus looks at your friend, and your friend helplessly looks back at him. And suddenly, you know, this Jesus knows everything. And you realize your friend knows. Jesus knows everything. Because all Jesus says is, "My friend, your sins are forgiven." What got your friend to the feet of Jesus? Your love, your hope, and as you encountered Jesus, your faith. as we come to pray for the people, the places, the situations God has laid on each of our hearts. May we come to these prayers with all our love, our hope, and what faith we have, be it strong or hardly there, knowing that somehow Jesus, God the Son, God, knows and understands everything.